You go into the really the infrastructure of the clerical infrastructure of Shia Islam, located in these two critical cities, one Qum in Iran and the other Najaf in Iraq, in which, in both cases, there are institutions. These are the bases of the different ayatollahs. There are long traditions of learning so that students are sent to these places for extensive periods of study. And particularly in the case of Najaf, there are historical buildings, mosques, burial sites that have a particular importance within the Shiite community. So that there is this vast infrastructure that is, in effect, an expression of the hierarchy of clerical leadership in the Shia community.
Najaf and Qom are almost like the Oxford and Cambridge of Shiism, or the Harvard and Yale of Shiism, in the two major centers. Najaf is a lot older and traditionally had much more prestige. And the reason that Najaf grew had largely to do with the fact that the shrine of Ali is in that city. So from the very beginning, there was a gathering of the Shias around that shrine, and then that's where education began.
And it's a pilgrimage site.
And it's a pilgrimage site, which means it brings money, it brings people from across the Muslim world, which creates contact with clerics. Now, the function of a cleric in Shiism is that he ministers to the religious affairs of the community, which means people have questions of him and he interprets the law for them. And there is a pyramidal structure where there's a lower cleric, and then the lower cleric is the representative of a higher cleric and a higher cleric, and then on. And there is also a financial distribution. The lower clerics onwards gather the religious taxes, and then the distribution for charitable causes, for scholarship of students, etc., comes from top down. So the more the purse of a cleric and the more followers he has, the more senior he is. So in some ways, the rank of ayatollahs in Shiism outside of Iran or before the Iranian Revolution is decided somewhat democratically by the financial and popular vote of the followers. Now, in these shrine cities, in these education cities, like Najaf, there are many seminaries, and they are associated with different clerics. They pay for the scholarship of the seminarians, and the seminarians come there and study with these clerics for many, many years. And the education system is very much tutorial. So they sit at the foot of the lectures of the clerics for many years, and then they study on their own. And in many ways, the whole system of education in Oxford and Cambridge that grew in the medieval period was inspired by this tutorial experience of Islamic education. Even the colleges in Oxford and Cambridge somewhat resemble the seminaries, each with its own dormitory and its own set of clerics teaching its own subject, but all within a city in which there's a lot of other educational opportunities. Now, Qom became important when in 1920 the British took over Iraq. There was a Shia revolt that was brutally suppressed, and many Shia clerics, not wanting to live under the British, left Iraq for Qom in Iran. And then Qom began to prosper through many years of revolution and neglect in Iraq. And then during the latter part of Saddam Hussein years, you had a situation where Najaf was atrophying because of lack of funds and because of the brutality of Saddam Hussein regime, whereas Qom was prospering under Khomeini and the Islamic Revolution.